ibiyobyabwenge birica kandi birangiza. Rinda ubuzima bwawe n'ubwa mugenzi wawe, tugira igihugu kizira ibiyobyabwenge. Rubyiruko, nimwe musingi ukomeye w'igihugu. Radio Imanzi, 105.1 FM. Buri wese abigize ibye, twatsinda burundu akarengane na ruswa. U Rwanda ruzira ruswa n'akarengane mu cyerekezo 2050. Radio Imanzi, 105.1 FM. Munyarwanda, isuku ni isoko y'ubuzima. Zirikana ko isuku kubagize umuryango wawe ari inshingano zawe. Isuku kuri buri munyarwanda, igihugu kizira indwara. Radio Imanzi, 105.1 FM.
We got you updated. This is Radio Imanzi, news in English.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. This is Radio Imanzi 105.1, broadcasting from Kigali. Here are the news in English, brought to you by Alvin Omngari. The headlines. Rwanda has chosen among countries to pilot single airspace market. The city of Kigali has urged people to relocate from high-risk zones and not drive during heavy rains. Ramaphosa's alleged corruption report is to be examined on December 6th. China's Xi Jinping lectures Canadian President Justin Trudeau over alleged leaks at the G20 summit. We'll be back with news in detail. Welcome back. Let's detail these headlines. Rwanda has chosen among 17 countries that are said to participate in an implementation pilot project of the single African air transport market named SAATM. The development expert says and adds momentum to Africa's bids for open skies. Single African air transport market, commonly referred to as the unified air transport market, aims at boosting the aviation industry on the continent by allowing free movement of airlines from one country to another. Rwanda will join a list of 17 nations, including Cape Verde, Cameroon, Ethiopia, Gabon, Ivory Coast, Kenya, Morocco, and Mozambique. Other participating countries are Nigeria, Niger, Namibia, Rwanda, Senegal, South Africa, Togo, and Zambia. Emmanuel Butera, consumer protection specialist at AFCAC, said Rwanda's investment in the air transport industry will bear fruits as the national carrier Rwandair, provided there is a reduction in the cost of travel with the implementation of single African air transport market. Butera argues, saying Rwandair could use the chance for route network expansions. He added that this implies that the free movement of goods and services across borders of member states, hence a wider, harmonized, and more competitive African market. The city of Kigali has urged people to relocate from high-risk zones and not drive during heavy rains after floods killed 3 people, including one motorcycle rider yesterday. Officials say the motorcyclist was washed away and killed by floods in Timisagare sector, Nyarugenge district, while trying to keep his motorcycle from being washed away by floods. The other 2 victims are one from Gasabo district and one from Kicukiro district. The city of Kigali Kigali also urged residents to avoid dumping waste in water channels and drainages. The warning issued on November 10th mentioned heavy rains are expected from November 10th to November 20th. The weather forecast also revealed that the likely impacts include severe widespread flooding, two major rivers, damage and loss of houses, landslides, risk of loss of lives and livelihoods, a poor visibility causing accidents, danger to life due to fast-flowing rivers and deep water, as well as loss of infrastructure and other properties. Two senior officials of the Rwandan National Olympic and Sports Committee appeared before Chichukiro Primary Court to answer two charges of forgery, nepotism, and favoritism. The suspects are Jean-Jacques Mugisha, head of Rwanda's mission to Commonwealth Games, and Jean-Didier Mukundiukuri, the executive director of Rwanda National Olympic and Sports Committee. The trial started at 9 a.m. and the duo was represented by Vestin Dusenge and Philibert Rutagengwa, while the prosecution was represented by Charles Kayove. Kayove said the two were suspected to have applied for visas and accreditation for 7 people who were supposed to be delegates to travel to Birmingham through the Olympics Committee without notifying any of the executive committee members. They both sought full bail and presented sureties, including Marie Immaculée Ingabire, the head of Transparency International Rwanda. The judge ruled the court decision on the matter will be rendered next week on November 22nd. Unopposed Infantino is set for re-election in Rwanda during the FIFA elections. Gianni Infantino will stand for a third term unchallenged during the next FIFA elections due in Rwanda next year. Infantino, who first rose to the leadership of FIFA when he replaced Sepp Blatter in 2006, is currently serving his second term, which he won in 2019. A brief statement from FIFA indicates that Infantino will be the only candidate when the election takes place at the 73rd FIFA Congress scheduled to take place in Kigali on March 16th. The development means the Swiss Italian is on course to preside over at least 3 World Cups, with his upcoming third term set to go beyond the 2026 edition, which will be staged in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. News of his unopposed bid comes 3 days ahead of the official opening of the 22nd edition of Men's FIFA World Cup in Qatar. We'll be back with economic news.
Economic news is a regular feature on Radio Imanzi. Economic news is a regular feature on Radio Imanzi.
The trading session recorded a total turnover of 271,000 Rwandan francs from the 1,000 Bank of Kigali shares traded in one deal on the equities market, while the fixed income market remained quiet. Equities counters closed as follow: Bralirwa at 170 Rwandan francs, INDM Rwanda at 43 Rwandan francs, Simerwa at 120 Rwandan francs, MTN Rwanda at 175 Rwandan francs, Equity at 440 Rwandan francs, Kenya Commercial Bank at 370 Rwandan francs, National Media Group at 1,200 Rwandan francs, Uchumi Supermarket Limited at 104 Rwandan francs, and R&H Buffalo at 526 Rwandan francs. The exchange rate today, the United States dollar was buying 1,044 Rwandan francs and selling 1.065 Rwandan francs. The British pound buying price was 1.241 Rwandan francs, and it was selling 1,266 Rwandan francs. The euro buying price was 1,083 Rwandan francs, and the selling price was 1,105 Rwandan francs. The Tanzanian shilling buying price was 0.44 Rwandan francs, and the selling price was 0.45 Rwandan francs. The Kenyan shilling buying price was 8.5 Rwandan francs, and the selling price was 8.7 Rwandan francs. The Ugandan shilling buying price was 0.27 Rwandan francs, and the selling price was 0.28 Rwandan francs. The Burundian francs was buying at 0.50 Rwandan francs, and the selling price was buying 0.51 Rwandan francs. We'll be back shortly with international news.
Some items of international news on Radio Imanzi.
The World Health Organization announces clinical trials of Ebola vaccine in Uganda. The World Health Organization, namely WHO, announced on Wednesday the 3 trial vaccines for Ebola will arrive in Uganda next week. The announcement was made during the G20 meeting in Indonesia. Tedros Adhanom, WHO Director General, made an announcement saying, "Today, I'm pleased to announce that the WHO Committee of External Experts has evaluated 3 candidate vaccines and agreed that all 3 should be included in the planned trial in Uganda." World Health Organization and Uganda's Minister of Health has conceded and accepted the committee's recommendation. We expect the first dose of vaccines to be shipped to Uganda next week. An Ebola outbreak in Uganda was declared in late September. Since then, Ebola claimed at least 55 deaths. 2 of the 3 trial vaccines were developed in the UK, and the 3rd trial vaccine comes from the United States. The Parliament announced this Thursday a long-awaited report on an alleged corruption scandal targeted at South African President Cyril Ramaphosa a month before a crucial deadline for his political future will be examined on December 6th this year. An independent parliamentary committee was tasked in September with examining President Ramaphosa's accountability in the 2020 case and issuing findings that could lead to a possible vote for his impeachment. The African National Congress must meet from December 16th to choose whether or not to invest Mr. Ramaphosa's candidate for a second term in the presidential election of 2024, re-electing him president of the party. The successor to Jacob Zuma, who was forced to resign in 2018 after a series of scandals, the current president is expected to tackle the corruption from that he was vowed to eradicate. Cyril Ramaphosa is accused of concealing the robbery from the police and the money from the tax authorities, organizing the kidnapping and interrogation of the robbers, and then bribing them to keep quiet. The president, who was repeatedly attacked on the subject during heated session in the assembly, denied the accusations, questioning the amounts mentioned and maintaining that the money found was in fact from the sales of livestock. He was also denounced the political aims of his opponent. Chinese leader Xi Jinping was captured by Canadian broadcasters in a rare candid moment on Wednesday, where he was filmed chiding his Canadian counterpart, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, over what he described as leaked discussions. On the sidelines of the G20 summit in Indonesia, Xi Jinping chatted with Trudeau in Mandarin with a smile, but the English translation of what he said was a little less friendly. Xi translators said, "Everything we discussed has been leaked to the papers, and that is not appropriate." Xi told the Canadian leader in Mandarin, "If there was sincerity on your part, then we shall conduct our discussion with an attitude of mutual respect. Otherwise, there might be unpredictable consequences." Trudeau said through a statement he gave to the press after the exchange, "Not every conversation will be easy, but it's extremely important we continue to stand up for the things that are important for Canadians. This is something we always do and will continue to do." When asked about the incident, China's foreign ministry said Canada should create conditions with concrete actions to improve ties with Beijing. With that, we come to the end of the program. Let us look at the headlines once again. Rwanda has been chosen among countries to pilot single airspace market. The city of Kigali has urged people to relocate from high-risk zones and not drive during heavy rains. Ramaphosa's alleged corruptions report is to be examined on December 6th. China's Xi Jinping lectures Canadian President Justin Trudeau over alleged leaks at the G20 summit. Thank you for staying with me. Stay at the frequency for more programs. This was Alvina Mngadi. Stay safe and have a wonderful night.